Hi everyone, welcome to this joint webinar brought to you by the Research Society of Australia, Ipsos and Infotools. In this series of webinars, we'll be discussing current topics and areas of interest. I'm joined today by Johan, who's our Director of Product Delivery, Alex, who's the Director of Methods and Analytics at Ipsos, Colin, who is the Head of Partnerships at the Research Society of Australia. My name is Andrea, and I'm the Client Engagement Manager at Infotools. I'll be showing you how Harmoni works in a little bit later. Like I said before, a couple of housekeeping rules. We're going to mute everybody as we got a large group. We're going to record the session for future reference. And if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A section, which is at the top of your Teams screen, or leave them until the end because that's when we're going to be responding to questions. Now, as you all know, the future of market research and tech have been in the news with generative AI and the impact these tools will have in our industry. But what we're keen to talk about today is how do we balance the future with the fundamentals? When any new approach is introduced in any field, it is important to master the fundamentals. The good thing is we, as insight professionals and data analysts, we know how the fundamentals do our best and we know how they work. And it's not always the case of digitalizing our tasks to modernize them. It's actually a little bit more than that. So technology certainly saves time and replaces certain activities. But how does technology integrate into what we already do? And how can we ensure that the robustness and reliability of the work that we do carries through? Now let's hear from our presenters.
Hello everyone, I'm Johan, and I'm here to present a perspective of where technology can still be a trusted partner of the researcher in this new world of emerging opportunity, or for some, an overwhelming confusion over even knowing where to start. There is plenty of chatter in the media over some of the industry darlings of AI. Hype, some may call it. OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google Bard, Microsoft's Bing, Anthropic's Claude, all showing their collective rooster feathers in what is rapidly becoming an AI arms race. But generative AI does not stop at language and conversation, as we begin to see now an AI tool for pretty much anything with a digital DNA or heartbeat. The AI buzz has market researchers and those like me looking and searching to see where we might leverage or even lead initiatives that take advantage of these new technologies. We're all in an equal standing of not wanting to jump in too far, too deep, before we can really understand the benefits, but equally not placing our heads in the sand so that we are quickly left behind. Through all of this, we still have our day jobs and still have an important need to focus on research fundamentals, such as the appropriateness of methodologies, design, collection, cleaning, analysis, finding and delivering insights, through to visualization and reporting. So how can we turn this into a union of success? Take your amazing skills, experience, intuition, gut feels, and contextual understanding and lean into these new technologies so that these amazing traits can be amplified. That is the question. While the headlines have some of the big names, there is a whole plethora of AI, machine learning technologies out there that already, in fact, could begin to be a partner for you to both multiply your own value and minimize those less productive times that you might spend in those research to analysis cycles. Ask yourselves this question: what aspect of my day-to-day could new technologies assist me with? Give the question a context, even a goal. even a small step in an experiment to see what's possible. Our market researchers have, for as long as I can remember, been instrumental in helping organizations understand consumers. The impending evolutionary changes about to hit the industry are at such a scale that it'll certainly make the old ways of working feel like old school antics. There are some significant challenges that the market research sector continues to face. The likes of data quality, survey fraud, survey farms, straight lining, speed to insight and delivery, partial completes, knowing your respondent, and so forth. As with any successful product or feature, AI will come into its own when it can be used or proved. To address these challenges, better still, provide pathways to avoid them completely. Leveraging the idea of the co-pilot, the researcher community has the opportunity to amplify their skills and maximize their knowledge into time spent on what is human value. Prompts, where we tell the AI what we want and need, and quality sanity checks remain an important gate at this stage of progress. This comes from your expertise, your experience. We have now entered a time where a simple text-based instruction can lead to outcomes and outputs in seconds that once took days and weeks. Equally, where we would need to go elsewhere or ask others, AI can support our steps, your steps, a true research assistant. This is the amplification opportunity. Specifically, we are now entering a phase where this assistant could begin to generate survey drafts or versions thereof, test surveys against synthetic panels before field, detect fraudulent activities in surveys, organize and shape, harmonize data across waves and markets, generate images or video to complement findings, summarize key findings from data sets, theme or code data, analyze emotions, in voice or video, read our facial expressions, overlaying other contextual data to some of the survey results that are being collected. That's just to name a few, and I'm sure some of you have your own angles as well. As I'm the product guy, our software position around generative AI in market research is slightly more iterated. R&D can take time, and we continue testing and development to ensure AI enablement can deliver and keep trust and quality at the top of outcomes and expectation. Our experimentation in the space has proved exciting so far. Our goal is still to turn this excitement and wow factor into capabilities and functions that will ultimately make the researcher shine. That's mainly because AI won't pay the license fees yet. I'm joking. We strive to keep the fundamentals of research in direct sunlight as we look for new ways to make existing research keep delivering. This is all while creating new pathways to this future state of research, where technology and talented people focus in on quality over quantity, speed to insight, and now even new insights that were never before possible. Some recent experiments have seen us use our own software, Harmoni, to create and save collections of insights as stories. Extending upon this, we've been leveraging large language models, LLMs, to provide an auto commentary to what is happening in those results, all generated text being editable and adjustable by the researcher before being exported to complement reports in tools like PowerPoint. This is a great example of co-piloting commentary in a protected ecosystem environment. Further experimentation has also seen us explore true conversations with data, allowing the AI to bring interesting bookmarks of investigation to the surface, with natural language driving on-the-fly creation of top 2 boxes or brand nets. Pretty cool. Where large language models in particular have not performed as well for us so far is around things like trying to shape raw data into researcher-ready analysis projects. Current large language models still have more road to travel before consistent, contextually accurate, and even correct organization of raw to ready can occur. Perhaps this is where a researcher-driven local large language model could succeed in future. We are cautiously optimistic with what we have seen so far. We do believe that each day will improve, grow, and multiply the opportunity of use and accuracy of result. Reflecting on our own experience, we've seen a lot of promising AI-led solutions enter the industry, signaling a disruption or a dramatic change. Many targeting the speed to insight of the delivery, which for many still remains throttled by siloed departments all handing off their step in the workflow while customers wait patiently for their results. The race to speed things up with technology like AI should not lose sight of quality and trust, the pillars that we have built this industry on. We need to trust and be confident of the quality just as much as our customers will. Confidence levels are a big part of this. Market researchers have confidence in the analyses that they are able to produce because they can clearly track and cross-check what they have produced in the data. In turn, they have set expectations and habits of what their customers can expect from them. However, producing a plethora of crosstabs and publishing 100-page PowerPoint slides seems to be where we're steering away from. Is this the most productive way to deliver insights and value for our customers? That's where quality versus quantity will come head to head as we progress forward. It's not always easy or practical for market researchers to change from their current ways of working. Even using platforms like Harmoni, which uses time-tested statistical algorithms to find significant trends and patterns in market research data, plug, changing to AI-enabled platforms will pose greater challenges to the ways of working. But we should be ready and willing to pivot if we see our customers' trends of consuming what we produce and adopting what is available begin to change. As we saw with examples recently, like ChatGPT's meteoric rise, things can change quickly. AI is the future of research, and it will offer us all exciting ways to do our jobs, deliver our value, and ultimately produce a commercial return for our activities. I encourage all of you to look for a way in, a small step to evaluate, iterate, and improve on one aspect of your day. Be an oracle of learning for your organization and show what the power of this new era will bring to research. You may not be at the front of the queue, but I highly recommend you join it, you enjoy it, and you embrace it. Thank you so much.
Hi, and thanks for registering to listen to this webinar. My name's Simmons, and I'm the Director of Methods and Analytics at Ipsos in Australia and New Zealand. I've been in and around the market research industry for over 15 years, working through many different aspects of the research cycle. So I've spent the last few years in Ipsos working across large-scale social research studies, as well as being involved in advanced analytics, methodological design, and most recently, the adoption of generative AI across the company. We live in a world where the only constant is change. The events of the last few years, particularly across the COVID pandemic that unfolded across 2020, have profoundly altered our perspectives on life and especially on work. While some of the changes have brought around positive transformations, others presented both us personally and as businesses challenges. The relentless economic pressures that are stemming from global factors have drastically shifted cost of living in Australia over the past 12 to 18 months, and further separated us from pre-2019 era. Amidst this ever-evolving landscape, certain truths are starting to emerge though. Firstly, a requirement for businesses to actively seek the most efficient ways to accomplish tasks, whether that is through exploring cost-saving alternatives offshore via a global marketplace, or embracing automation of tasks to replace labour-intensive processes. The pursuit of efficiency has become absolutely paramount. Secondly, globally, there are now an employee workforce who are demanding that employers adapt business practices to better align with their needs and aspirations. This calls for a paradigm shift on how organisations approach their employee engagement, empowerment, as well as the day-to-day work cycle of an employee. And lastly, the rise of generative AI, which gained prominence in late 2022 through ChatGPT. It presents us with the potential to revolutionise many industries, including market research, provided that we use it smartly. I'm not going to delve into the mechanics of generative AI today, as that's a discussion that could take us down a rabbit warren and would need dedicated time we just don't have. I will say, though, that it is still in its infancy, both as businesses and as industries. We're exploring how we can fully integrate the technology into our working lives. And I'm sure that we will look to have more of these types of sessions in the future to talk about them as we roll through them as in our products and our project work life cycle. So this being said, one thing is clear. The world is rapidly evolving and adapting to these transformative changes. Researchers must prepare for the next wave of software tools, applications, analytics types that will shape our future from pretty much now and over the next few years. So in a bygone era, we used to utilize products like SPSS to replicate tabs, create analysis, apply a weighting schema, perform data augmentation, and this was considered cutting edge or innovative. Over the past decade, these processes have evolved to include software tools that easily allow us to create, store, replicate those sets of tabs, analyses, weighting, and so on through intuitive user interfaces with very little need or to have the understanding of and technical skill or coding of how to do so. You just drag and drop. Examples of these products include things like Qualtrics and Kuyk that offer the functionalities either built in or with programmable add-ons. So the changes that we're going to witness over the next few years will be multifaceted. One such will be with generative AI and large language models being embedded into our existing products that are in the marketplace. These will allow users to ask the generative AI for an insight, write up commentary of table, and so on. Another facet will be to leverage the accessibility of highly powerful open source software platforms like R and Python. These platforms will not only serve as a data analytics tools for researchers, but it will also allow them to seamlessly integrate with data collection platforms, generative AI through API platforms, and allow researchers to access complex machine learning techniques with simple coding language prompts that hasn't been available before. Whilst already in use across various industries, especially in finance and academia, these tools are being taught and employed at the tertiary level, ensuring that the new generation of researchers will have some level of exposure to programming and coding by the time they enter the workforce. So that means that a whole lot of questions arise for those of us who are already entrenched in the workforce. So where do we go from here? What should we be learning? How do we position ourselves to embrace the imminent wave of AI and the emergence of coding-ready graduates? In my view, the answer is rather straightforward. Experience and domain knowledge are irreplaceable. No matter how many new tools we adopt over the next few years, it is ultimately the researcher who possesses the understanding and nuanced perspective to elicit the quick and efficient and, most importantly, meaningful result. We need to embrace the change and treat it as the exciting revolution that it can be. Using an example of past tools that generate tabs and create dashboards, capable of rendering large data sets with customizable filters for clients that haven't taken our jobs. On the contrary, we've become increasingly valuable as the individuals who provide the insights that are meaningful, aligned to the client narratives, and actionable in affecting the change. The life of the researcher will no doubt undergo a transformation again, with tasks transitioning from requesting or producing our own tabs from analysis to automated systems that can generate the charts at scale faster than any human. Nevertheless, even when the so-called prompt engineers who possess the knowledge to input queries into an AI system to seek and uncover the valuable insights. They'll still require deep understanding of the client's context, the data at hand, the broader global landscape to distinguish the true gold from the fool's gold. This contextual understanding will be critical in ensuring accurate interpretation of what comes out of these tools. Consider another example. While it is true that we will increasingly rely on AI to generate code for complex analytics in an open source product, and this will undoubtedly simplify the application of machine learning techniques, the AI's interpretation of the output remains confined to the parameters that it has been given. It cannot make a decision based on parameters it has not yet been provided. That's where we come in. Ultimately, a greater proportion of our days will be dedicated to the art of thinking, engaging with clients to understand their desires and their needs, and collaborating with technical experts who possess the skill to create the dazzling new outputs and utilize cutting-edge tools. We shall then be unburdened of repetitive tasks and manual tasks. However, let's not forget that the human domain knowledge remains indispensable in the quest for accurate and meaningful insights. As researchers, we need to be able to ride this inevitable wave of clients attempting to cut out the middleman and conduct research projects themselves before they'll come back, hat in hand, hopefully, when it doesn't work out as easily as it was sold to them. What we can do is get on the front foot, engage with our clients now and keep them abreast of all the changes that are happening in our companies and in the industries and bring them on that journey. Talk to them about data-driven insights using AI. As we take them on this journey, it'll allow us to be more collaborative in our approaches and they can see the shiny new tools as they appear. So as we forge ahead into an era of profound change, let's embrace the transformative power of these technologies and harness the capabilities to improve our lives and our working lives and of course, the world around us. Let us seize the opportunity to shape the future of research and ensure that the human intellect and expertise continue to be at the forefront of all of the meaningful discoveries. Thank you.
We just heard how market researchers can embrace technology while still delivering on the fundamentals of our industry. Harmoni is one of these tools that we at Infotools have been developing and fine-tuned for over 33 years. It's built to meet the demanding needs of data-driven business leaders who seek competitive advantages by seeing things others can't, removing the need to recut survey data. Harmoni gives you, as a researcher, more time to think, more space to think, to exercise curiosity, and to further discover insights in your data. This provides stakeholders with not just what they want, but also what they need: greater actionable intelligence. So let's have a look at one of these projects. It's the Ipsos Consumer Confidence Survey that includes 3.2 million respondents' records. But first, I'm going to show you a landing page. This is an example of our landing page with examples of our clients. But your landing page can be customized to your own needs. From the landing page, we can jump onto the project. Now we're going to have a look at this project. To the left, we have what we call the project tree. And this is where we have the variables we can use to analyze. On the right, we got the analysis pane. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag across the variables we want to analyze. Let's have a look at current economic situation by month. On the top, we have the visualize menu and the modify menu. When we click on visualize and we're looking at a time series analysis, Harmoni selects a line chart by default. We can see the impact COVID has had on people's perceptions of their economic situation. I can hide the project tree to have a look at the graph better. And also to see a clearer pattern, we can replace month by year and simplify the view by selecting summary. We're going to nest down the region to do further analysis. This is looking good, so I'm going to add this to a story by clicking on the top, and this will save it to a story to come back later, or to share it with stakeholders. All the stories that we save will update automatically when new waves are added to the project. Now we know how the economic sentiment is tracking. Let's drill more into who is confident about their situation and who is not. I'm going to drag current economic situation by classifications. Let's have a look at age group. Now, turning the heat map on to visualize it, I might flip it because it's easier to see the pattern. We can see the younger generation tend to be happier with their economic situation than the older generation. Turning on statistical difference in the modify menu, where we actually also have access to analysis tools such as changing averages, indices, and unweighted counts, we're going to see if the pattern is statistically significant at the 99% confidence level. There are other ways of confirming that what we're seeing is robust. By turning on the multi-reference for each group, we'll show which other groups are significantly higher or lower. By clicking on the cell, we can see details and the margin of error and sample size. When we visualize this analysis, the default is a bar chart. We can choose a horizontal bar chart or a stack bar chart, which is good to see in this instance. I'm going to add it to the story to share with stakeholders and to come back later. Let's have a look at current economic situation in the time series by filtering by year. Harmoni will use the last period as a default filter every time a new wave is added, and the last period will be applied as a default. We can replace with education, and higher levels of education seem to correlate with a higher level of economic situation. We can hide prefer not to say, as it's not adding to the analysis we're doing at the moment. We can replace education with employment status, and we can see that the group of very good economic situation has more people with full-time employment status. There is a more efficient feature to find out about the current economic situation. I'm going to drag the current economic situation to Discover. Discover uses any set of descriptors from the project to highlight attributes that positively differentiate a group from all others. In this example, the descriptors are the demographics. I'm also going to add the most worrying topics. This is going to paint a really good picture of who the very good group are and who the other groups are. I can look at the top of the table are the items this group is more likely to be worried about. And at the bottom of the table are the items this group is less likely to be worried about. I can change the target. And this way compare with the other targets. The group that is most similar will be next to the target. I'm going to add this to my stories so I can then create a dashboard and I can share these stories with my stakeholders. Because the stories get updated every time the project gets updated, I get the most updated data. When I go to stories, you can see all the stories sequentially. You can download them to PowerPoint or share with colleagues and stakeholders. These stories become the basis of our dashboard. In the dashboards, I'm going to have a look at these two pages. We can see inflation is the most worrying topic, and coronavirus is the least. To the question, is the country heading in the right direction? We can look at the data by clicking in the dynamic link. And we see that only 43% are the opinion that it's going in the right direction. So this is an example of Harmoni with a real client. and with a real project. We're delighted to show you how Harmoni works. If you ever have any questions, just get in touch.
Hello, everyone. This is Colin Wong from the Research Society. I hope everybody is well. Today, I'm going to touch base with all of you on how the society is actually preparing our researchers to meet the future. So I guess there's probably three areas that we wanted to look at today. First of all is our mentoring program. Secondly, Illuminate, which is our thought leadership articles around key issues. And lastly, the conference, our national conference, being that the Human Insights Conference. I guess we probably will need to start looking at what we have achieved so far in 2022 to 2023 financial year. There's several things that we could possibly look at. And one of the things that I feel that the society have done really well is that we have a very strong feedback on the ability of the society to actually respond quickly to emerging topics and provide trainings with high quality world-class speakers. So that's one thing that we did really well. And I wanted to give you a good example, such as our AI webinar last week. And we had the biggest turnout, to be honest, that we have not seen in the last decade for that particular session. So I guess AI is really one of the areas that we look into future and how we could potentially use that. Moving forward to the new financial year, which is 2023 to 2024, I suppose, one important area that we just talked about is AI. We will be also focusing on that as well. And we wanted to build out the human skills and knowledge and be able to use in that area, and also developing expertise, right? And AI's approaches and applications for that. And advancing our thought leaderships, developing agenda and areas that we should focus on, including research, and working groups, so that we can continue to discuss with all of you in terms of what areas that we need to focus on and what will be, current happenings within the industry. And of course, expand the use of our speakers, and facilitators to ensure that everybody has the opportunity to listen to, speakers that will have different experience and different backgrounds, and take that next step to developing the relationship with them. Some of the other areas that, I wanted to touch on for the training program is that, we also, have new offerings on our bootcamp, skill clinics, on-demand courses, and GRB and business impact trainings as well. So we continue to also look into our online summits, core skill courses, turbo training, master classes, and fundamentals. Those are our basic offerings that we will continue to offer. But I guess the differences is that we will be reviewing the existing courses, modify the versions to make sure that it appeals to a broader research markets, so that you can get the training that you require in order to improve your expertise in that area. Having said that, I want to touch base on Illuminate, which is basically our thought leadership article around key issues. Now, we have seen that quite successfully this year, where there is a lot of contributions, a lot of discussion within the industries, and it really helped to push our thinking forward in the sense that, we come as a group and we can discuss various challenges that we are seeing as a group, and how do we actually address these challenges by providing solutions that we can all agree on, that can be best moved forward to. And of course, we're also working with international thought leaders as well, so that they can contribute for our learnings as well. Lastly, I thought I'll just touch base on the conference. As I mentioned earlier, that the conference will be happening in August in Melbourne this year, towards the end of August, which is on the 30th and 31st of August. And we would strongly encourage you to actually register if you have not registered already. This is a great opportunity for all of us to actually get together as an industry to learn and discuss, what is actually happening, especially within our own backyard, Australia, and including New Zealand as well. This is absolutely critical to me because I think that, even though that at the moment, there is a lot of opportunity to provide feedback. It's not every day that we can all get together to learn about, new topics, to learn about new technologies, to learn about new research methodologies. So it is all about sharing. As we all know that, sharing is caring. So I hope that, all of us can get together, and support that and share that knowledge. So I very much look forward to seeing everybody there and, while learning together. And I just wanted to encourage all of you, again, if you have not registered, please do take that opportunity to register yourself. And I'm sure that, you will see there's a lot of differences the society is actually doing for our conference. As it is our ultimate aim to ensure that everybody come and learn and take great knowledge away from the conference. And this is a few areas that society is actually working on to really help us to welcome or to meet the future. So again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Johan and Colin and Alex, for presenting alongside me this time. Now, we have some questions that I wanted to go through. And hopefully, if you have any other questions, just put them through in the Q&A section, and we can go through. So the first question that we have, I think it's for Johan, is what do large language models have you been exploring so far in your research and development?
Thanks, Andrea. I hope I'm coming through okay. Yep. Large language models, as I mentioned in my little talk there, we are in our experimentation phase at the moment, and there are a few that have been opened up more from a testing and a commercial business-to-business perspective. So at the moment, our testing has been through OpenAI's API facilities. That has also been through our partnership with Ipsos globally. And we've also been experimenting a little bit with Anthropic's Claude and also a little bit with Google's Bard large language model. So all of those are through their trusted partner programs at the moment. So it gives us an opportunity to kind of see it from more so the API access as opposed to sort of the customer-facing access that we're most familiar with.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Let's see. How easy is it to use Harmoni for analysis and insights? And how quickly can this be set up? I guess that's for me. So look, in the old days before Harmoni, doing or setting up a project would take days, if not a week, hours, and a week. But with Harmoni, it's very easy to set up. We have different types of licenses depending on the need, and we also offer services. So it's very easy. It's hours to set it up, and it's hours to get updates. It's easy to use the analysis as we showed before with drag and drop. So it's very intuitive and user-friendly. So I think that really what the demo that I showed encapsulates what a real project is. So it's no different to what I did in the demo. Okay, next question is, how are you implementing generative AI into reporting and storytelling? Now, this could be for Johan or Alex, or both.
Alex, I'm not sure if you want to jump in on this as well. I'll just give a brief answer there, Andrea. So for storytelling, in fact, I think there was a small demonstration there as I was talking. We have taken more of a standardized approach of just leveraging a large language model to generate more like a commentary that a researcher can then co-pilot with, adjust the tone and the dialogue and just ensure the accuracy there. So really that's maybe a more straightforward example. But one thing we're also experimenting with at the moment is could the story be generated almost like bookmarks so that the researcher can review some of those views that have been automatically selected and generated and help to organize into their own storytelling and again apply commentary to that. So again, alongside the researcher, trying to co-pilot with them, trying to be helpful and suggest things that may be of interest as part of a protected ecosystem like Harmoni. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think Johan's said pretty much nailed it. The key is with co-piloting these things and finding the right tools to integrate the generative AI and the large language models into, at the moment, mainly looking at that the co-pilot phase of you can get your insight, get the right prompt in to get the new the more tonally appropriate insight and whatnot. But then the evolution of that is going to be looking at ways to then massage out a full, we can call it a story to keep in tone with the way that Harmoni works, but massage out a broader story and then bring the prompt engineers in to be able to limit that down into the real gold nuggets, I'd say, of the insights, and that's what will end up being published.
So, Alex, do you see this co-piloting taking place at the beginning of the process with prompting and at the end with interpretation and analysis?
Yeah, I think that it's going to happen twofold. So it's going to be really crucial for the researcher to work with their client to understand not just their broad goals and the olden days of getting 1,000 tabs and then looking at what might be interesting and going back to the client will be gone. We will want to be doing a lot of that legwork up front so that we can get the AI to do a lot of that grunt in the production and we can go back with some again stories that are might be in line with what they want, and then at the back end when it comes to the actual final analysis and polish and finishing touches, it'll be putting in the right prompts through the models to get the language that we want, the tonally and so on, to give you the final output, and then the researcher goes over the top and ensures that it's correct. And I mean, the fact checking on all of it and ensuring that what is being said is real is going to be crucial, because we'll find that these models will be able to write language, write sentences that sound far better than what most of us can. And so in that case, you're going to be in a situation where you still need to be able to read and interpret that insight to ensure that it's what we actually want to say.
Yeah, it's the human interaction, I guess, that's going to come. Yeah, okay. There's another question here that says, you mentioned fundamentals of research, and how could the fundamentals be subject to change with AI? Very good question. Will the fundamentals change? So I guess that's for all of us. I always see it when something is changing and adapting, the fundamentals, it's like with cameras, and when new digital cameras came in, there was a need to still remember and know how to take photos. I don't know what you guys think about that. Johan or Alex or Colin? Will the fundamentals of research, how would they change with AI?
You go ahead, Alex. I'll chime in after you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fundamentals of being able to put together a research study, understand what your hypothesis is, what your goals are, and hold the hand of the client to get through it is not going to change. They're intangibles that must stay. the day-to-day, I guess, the day-to-day doing of the work and what our current junior staff do is going to evolve and change rapidly. And so they're still going to need to be taught the absolute fundamentals. But when it comes down to how they execute those, it's going to be very different. So they're going to have gone from doing a lot of manual work, whether that's table creation, charting, basic commentary writing, even just questionnaire checking and link checking. That's going to go out the window, and it's going to be replaced with the ability to elicit the right prompts and put the right mechanisms in place to ensure that those tasks are able to be done by AI, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Johan, were you going to add something to this?
Yeah, I agree with Alex's perspectives there as well. I spoke a little bit about accuracy and trust, and to me, those are still really fundamentals of what we work with, pillars of what the industry has been built on, and those will remain, and we should be custodians and gatekeepers of that continually. Where I do see perhaps fundamentals could be up for some change is around what is considered valuable or value, and that is particularly in the insights reporting. So we have all seen and still continue to see PowerPoint decks that have hundreds of slides in them, or a number of crosstabs seeing things in every single cut, but provided as a stack for someone to try and review. Now, where those may have been fundamental historically and perhaps even today, as we travel into the future, quantity versus quality, I think, will be one thing that AI will start to expose a little bit more. So if the gold, as Alex refers to it as, can be brought to the surface in an easier way, and people can digest that more easily, as opposed to having to work their way through a really large set of PowerPoint slides, then I think fundamentally we should consider what those outputs look like as well, and align ourselves to make sure that we are delivering and continuing to deliver to that value.
So when you're saying this, Johan, what it comes to mind is less is more. Is this kind of what you're thinking? There's going to be less, maybe PowerPoint pages, less hours spent on analysis, or fewer hours?
So.
Yeah,
I think so, Andrea. I mean, we have come from systems and a time where the volume piece was sometimes where value was connected, and I think that is dissipating a little bit more. When you have systems available at your fingertips where you can get an answer immediately, it sort of starts to take away from needing to produce something in a published or a printed form, because you can just dip in and get that answer straight away. So the notion of fast answer is already starting to challenge that perspective. So I think that's perhaps where the notion of fundamental could also be up for ongoing questions.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see, we got one more question here. How do we protect sensitive data in the world of AI? Now, sensitive data at the moment in our platform is protected, but I wonder what's going to happen in the future. At the moment, it's protected and no one can see what we can't see. In fact, we as custodians of data, we can't see a lot of data that's not shared with us. So what's going to happen in the world of AI? And this is probably more for you, Johan.
Thanks, Andrea. I'm also open to other perspectives here. I think we've seen actually after this, as we refer to it as the meteoric rise of systems like ChatGPT, that really you've got this public-facing black box that people can really just paste information into. And the protections around that are being challenged globally at the moment. In fact, there's been examples in the past months where large brand name organizations have really employed policies within their organizations to say you're not able to use some of these new generative AI or large language model or ChatGPT type systems, because sensitive information is just being sort of passed around open networks like the internet. So I think having ecosystems that are protected is really an important part of that, and also ensuring that systems that you are using aren't sort of backdooring data into other open AI or large language model type systems where the protection of data has not been agreed from a legal standpoint. We are also the custodians of our customers' data, so we have an obligation to continue protecting that data in its utmost, to the utmost standards. And we need to be willing to front on behalf of any new technologies that we are adopting as part of our workflows, so that we can continue to give our customers confidence that if data comes through to us, it is protected.
Yeah, that's right. And we do that currently with customers' data. So there's no reason why it can't be, we can keep it the same and keep making sure that private data is not made public. Right. Okay, wonderful. Now, I don't have any more questions. Are there any more questions from the group? Any other comments, Colin or Alex, that you want to mention before we go? Okay. Now, I want to thank you guys for your time, and we're going to be, like I said, this session is recording and it's going to be available for future reference. So thanks everybody for your time, and we'll see you next time.